Morning students. Today we are going to learn 8th standard 6th lesson. This is Jody's one written by Marjorie Kinnan Rowling. Before starting the lesson, let us know more about the author Marjorie Kinnan Rowling. She was born on 8th August 1896 in Washington DC. She was an American author, lived in rural Florida. Her best known work, The Yearlings, is which won the Pulitzer Award for Fiction in 1939. And this is Jody's phone. Is an extract taken from Marjorie Kinnan Rowling's The Yearlings. Okay, and Jody's father. Here main character is Jody, and Jody's father Penny Buxter was bitten by a rattlesnake. A rattlesnake is supposed to be very poisonous, but instead of going to the doctor, they knew that a doe or a female, doe means a female deer. A female deer's liver and heart will help to remove the poison from the body. So they killed a deer. So they killed a doe and used its liver and heart to save his life. They all went home, but when they came home, Jody was thinking that the foe which they killed had a fawn. And the fawn was left behind, hungry and scared in the forest. So Jody went to his father to ask permission to take the fawn to home. And Jody's father, Penny Buxter, allowed him to take the fawn to home. And he asked permission from his mother also. Mother was first little worried about that. If the fawn comes to their house, then they have nothing to feed him. Here, Jody became ready to sacrifice his own milk and ready to give it to the fawn. So now Jody went back to the forest to find the fawn with Melville. Jody told Melville to leave him alone in the forest. Why he said so? There were two reasons. One was that if the fawn was not found in the forest, then Jody did not want to show his disappointment on his face to Melville. And second point, if the fawn was found in the, if he found the fawn in the forest, then he did not want to share his secret love and affection towards the fawn to anyone. So Jody went into the forest alone, and finally Jody found the fawn. Yes, this fawn was very much scared that it wasn't ready to accept Jody. But Jody, with his immense love and consideration, accepted the fawn in such a way as if it was a little baby. He really looked after the fawn and he carried him in his own arms. He fed him his milk. As the fawn became the part of the family. This is the summary of the story. Today I will explain and read the first and second part of the lesson along with comprehension check. So let us now read the lesson. Jody's fawn, Marjorie Kinnan Rowling. Before starting the lesson, let us see the introduction part. In this story, Jody's father was bitten by a rattlesnake. He quickly kills a dog and uses its heart and liver to draw out the poison. Jody wonders what will happen to the little fawn left without a mother. See the meaning. Rattlesnake means a kind of poisonous snake. Doe is a female deer. Draw out, remove. Fawn, deer's baby. Now let us start the lesson. Jody allowed his thoughts to drift back to the fawn. Here, drift back means It is given here, go back to. He could not keep it out of his mind. He had held it in his dreams in his arms. He slipped from the table and went to his father's bedside. Geordie's thought went back to the phone. He was sitting at the table, and from there he got up and went to his father. His father, Penny, lay at rest. Here, lay at rest means resting. His eyes were open and clear, but the pupils were still dark and dilated. Dilated, here it is given, enlarged. Yes, Geordie's father was bitten by the snake, and it means that he was still in that effect of poison. That's why his pupils were still dark and dilated. Geordie said, "How are you feeling, Pa?" "Just fine, son. Old Death has gone thieving elsewhere." But wasn't it a close shave? Here, close shave means a narrow escape. Penny was saying that his death has now left him and went elsewhere to take someone else's life. It was definitely a narrow escape. I agree. Penny said, "I'm proud of you, boy, the way you kept your head and did what was needed." He praised Geordie that in such situation he kept himself calm and quiet and did what was needed. Next page. "Pa, yes son, Pa, do you recollect the dough and the phone?" What is the meaning of recollect? Remember. Geordie asked his father if he remembers the dough and the phone. "I can never forget them. The poor dough saved me, that's certain. Pa, the phone may be out there yet. It may be hungry." But Geordie was more worried about the phone. He would be hungry and scared all alone in the forest. "I can never forget." Okay, "I suppose so. Pa, I am a big boy now. I don't need to drink milk. Why don't I go and see if I can find the phone and bring it here and raise it?" So now Geordie suggests that he was a big boy and doesn't want milk, and asks permission whether he can go to the jungle and find the phone and bring it at home to raise it. Penny lay quiet, staring at the ceiling. Here, staring means looking continuously. So now, on hearing Geordie's suggestion, Penny did not know what to say. He kept staring at the ceiling. "Boy, you have got me hemmed in." What is the meaning of hemmed in? It is given here, caught in a situation where one can't say, "It won't take much to raise it, Pa. It will soon start eating leaves and acorns." Acorn here means a small brown nuts. "You are smarter than boys of your age. We took its mother and it wasn't to blame. Surely it seemed ungrateful to leave it to starve." Here ungrateful means unthankful. "Son, I can't say no to you. I never thought I would live to see another day. Can I ride back with Millville and see if I can find it?" Geordie asks his father's permission whether he can go with Millville to find the phone. And his father agreed, sidled back to the table and sat down. His mother was pouring coffee for everyone. Here, sidled back, the meaning it is given here, walk back quietly, trying not to be noticed. Geordie quietly go back to the table and tells mother that father has agreed to bring the phone. She held the coffee pot in midair. "What phone?" "The phone belonging to that dog we killed. We use the door's lever to draw out the poison and save Pa. She gasped. Well, for pity's sake, Pa says it would be ungrateful to leave it to starve. And the mother was not aware of this phone, so she asked him. Then he told her that he wants to bring back the phone whose mother he had killed to save father. The one who was sitting there also agreed with it. Melville said he can ride back with me. I will help him find it. Melville agreed to take Jody to the forest to find the phone. She set down the pot helplessly. Well, if you will give it to your milk, we have got nothing else to feed it. So she was. Yet Melville and Jody didn't pay attention to her worries and set out on a horse towards the forest. Ma Baxter asked anxiously, "You will not be gone long?" Ma Baxter here means Mother Baxter, Mrs. Baxter. Okay. Ma Baxter asked anxiously, "You will not be gone long?" Jody said, "I'll be back before dinner for sure." Melville mounted his horse and pulled Jody up behind him. Mounted means Saturn. He said to Melville, "Do you think the phone's still there? Will you help me find him?" Jody requests Melville to help to find the phone, and to this Melville asked him another question. "We will find him if he is alive. How you know it's a he?" Okay, here Melville asked him, does he know whether it's a he or not she? The spots were all in a line on a doe fawn. Okay, here doe fawn means female fawn. Pa says the spots are every which way. Every which way means it is given here in different directions. Jody answers to Melville that for a male deer, spots are in a line. But for a female deer, the spots are not in a line. They can be anywhere. Now our first part is over. Now we will move to the second part of the story. But the comprehension check of first part we will see after the second part. Part 2. Jody gave himself over to thoughts of the phone. Gave himself over to thoughts means started thinking. Here in part 2 we read that Jody and Melville had come to the forest and Jody is constantly thinking about the phone. He realizes the place where Jody's father had killed the doe and where the fawn were. Let us see from the text. They passed the abandoned clearing. Here abandoned means lonely. He said, "Cut to the north, Melville. It was up here that Pa got bitten by the snake and killed the doe and I saw the fawn." He was showing Melville to the exact place, showing the way towards the forest. Suddenly, Jody was unwilling to have Melville with him. Unwilling here means not willing to, not wanting to take Melville with him. Why? There are two reasons for that. If the fawn was dead or could not be found, he could not have his disappointment seen. And if the fawn was there, the meeting would be so lovely and so secret that he could not endure to share it. First reason was, if the fawn was dead or he could not find the fawn, he didn't want Melville to see his disappointment. And what is the second reason? Second reason was that in case he found the fawn, then the meeting would be so secret that he did not want to share his affection towards it with anyone else. So he said, "It is not far now, but the scrub is very thick for a horse and I can make it on foot." On foot means, yes, by walking. But I am afraid to leave you, boy. Suppose you got lost or got bitten by a snake too. I will take her. It will take me a long time to find the phone. If he is wanted, leave me off right here. On deciding that he doesn't want Melville with him, he said the bushes are so thick that the horse could not get inside, and therefore he had to go on foot. But Melville was not ready to leave him alone, as he is scared. Yes, if Jody got lost or bitten by a snake, but Jody assured him he will be absolutely fine. He takes some more time to return if the phone had wandered somewhere, but surely he will be back. So Melville at last agreed and went. All right, but you take it easy now. You know north here and east. If he wandered, leave me off right here. Here wandered means walk aimlessly. There and there, that pine makes a bearing. So long, Melville. I'm obliged. Here, so long means saying bye. I'm obliged. Obliged means thankful. He waited for the sound of the hoofs to end. Here's hoofs. Hoofs means horse feet. Then cut to the right. The scrap was still. Only his own crackling of ticks sounded across the silence. He wondered for an instant if he had mistaken his direction. Here, yes, then Jody went into the bushes. There were silence all around. Then he doubted he had gone wrong with his directions. Then a buzzard rose in front of him and flapped into the air. Buzzard means, it is given here, a large bird like the vulture that eats the flesh of dead animals. He came into the clearing under the oaks. Here clearing and oaks are. Here clearing is an open area. Oak, a type of large tree. Buzzards sat in a circle around the carcass of the doe. Carcass means dead body. Scrawny means thick. And hissed at him. Here hissed means sounds made by buzzards. Now Jody entered the bushes. He came into the open area. There was that dove's body carcass sound surrounded by buzzards. Buzzards are big birds like vultures which eats flesh. Birds. Here carrion birds mean flesh-eating birds. But Jody was not scared. He threw a branch which made all the birds fly to the adjacent tree. Adjacent tree means yes, nearby tree. Then he saw big cat prints on the ground. Then he realized the tiger or a lion must have first eaten those flesh and then left it. These for carrion birds. Carrion birds means flesh-eating birds. He parted the grass at the place where he had seen the fawn. It did not seem possible that it was only yesterday. The fawn was not there. He circled the clearing. There was no sound. The buzzards which were sitting in the trees got very impatient of the presence of Jody, and they were waiting for Jody to go from there so that they can get back to the body. Jody returned to the spot where he had seen the fawn. He dropped on all fours. That means he sat down. All knees and hands touched the ground and tried to study the footprints of fawn. But there was no fawn. All he could see was the footprints of the cats and buzzard. So this much is second part. And now we will see the comprehension check of first part. First question, what had happened to Jody's father? The answer is Jodi's father had been bitten by a rattlesnake. Now the second question. How did the dove save Penny's life? Answer of second question. Jodi's father killed the dove. He used her heart and liver to draw out the snake's poison. In this way, the dove saved Penny's life. Second question. Third question. Why did Jodi want to bring the fawn home? Third answer. Jodi's father had killed the dove. Without its mother, the fawn was all alone in the forest. Jodi wants to bring the fawn home. Now the fourth question. How does Jodi know that the fawn is a male? Answer 4. The spots on the fawn's body made Jodi know that it was a male deer because all the spots were in a line. Second part, comprehension check. First one, Jodi didn't want Melville with him for 2 reasons. What were they? First question's answer is the 2 reasons because of which Jodi didn't want Melville to be with him were if the fawn was dead or could not be found, he could not have his disappointment seen. Second point, if the fawn was there, then the meeting would be so lovely and secret that he didn't want to share it with anyone. So now the second question. Why was Melville afraid to leave Jodi alone? Second answer. Melville was afraid that Jodi might be lost in the forest or he might be bitten by a snake. Today we have done the first and second part of the lesson along with comprehension check. So this the questions which are there in comprehension check, you have to write it in your notebook. And in the next video, we will do the third part of the lesson. Till then,